we are getting new, horrifying reports of what Hamas terrorists have done to Israeli women during their final moments on October 7th. Gruesome accounts of sexual assault and rape from eyewitnesses, with details too graphic for us to even describe on air. And while Hamas has released some of the female hostages, Israeli officials believe that at least 18 others are still being held by the terror group. Now the U.S. State Department says Hamas may be refusing to release those women in order to keep them quiet.
It seems one of the reasons they don't want to turn women over that they've been holding hostage, and the reason this pause fell apart, is they don't want those women to be able to talk about what happened to them during their time in custody. Certainly, there is very little that I would put beyond Hamas when it comes to its treatment of civilians, and particularly its treatment of women.
As the atrocities continue, so does the silence from several so-called women's groups who refuse to condemn Hamas's heinous acts. However, several prominent female voices took to the United Nations yesterday to speak out against Hamas and send a strong message to those who won't.
When I saw the list of women's rights organizations who have said nothing, I nearly choked. Where is the solidarity for women in this country and in this world to stand up for our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters?
There can be no justifications and no excuses. Rape as a weapon of war is a crime against humanity. Such atrocities have no place in any society or any conflict.
No matter what marches you are attending, what flag you are flying, what religion you practice, or if you practice none at all, there's one thing we can all agree on. There are exactly no circumstances that justify rape. Do we believe the Hamas spokesperson who said that rape is forbidden, therefore it couldn't have possibly happened on October 7th? Or do we believe the women whose bodies tell us how they spent the last minutes of their lives? Who are we going to believe?
Morgan, the thought that that question even had to be asked is unbearable.
Yeah, I think what's incredibly important to note here, what we just saw were women that were testifying in New York here at the United Nations. There's an organization called UN Women, and you would think that UN Women would be for women. It took them 2 months. 2 months. They issued a statement on December 2nd in order to condemn using rape as a weapon of war, the way that Hamas used it against Israeli women. It seems that we believe all women, unless they're Jewish women. You could look on the internet, you could go on right now on any social media site and see people that are basically calling into question whether women were raped or not. We, as the United States, sit on the executive board of UN Women. In fiscal year 21, we gave almost $15 million to them. So this is, again, yet another organization at the United Nations where we need to see systematic reform. And that's something that the U.S. ambassador to the United States should be working on behind the scenes. But I just to say, it is important. I will give these women that we just showed credit for speaking out, because they are all Democrats. They are center-left. And unfortunately, they will take heat from within their own party, from within their own base. You see members of Congress today, you could go on their Twitter, you know who I'm talking about, who will not condemn Hamas, who are spreading terrorist propaganda, and who know what happened to women on the day. The videos are there, and they still refuse to condemn it. Representative Jayapal on CNN could barely utter the words condemning rape before she went on to attack Israel. That's how much they vehemently are anti-Semitic and anti-Israel.
And Kevin, so Morgan raised a really good question for the Democrat Party, twofold question. Why the heat? And do you feel it will be reflected in the ballots come November? Are people, to that point, it is so unacceptable. Will finally people depart this party who, for some reason, keeps bending a knee to those on the left with these extreme, unacceptable views?
Well, to Morgan's point, and I think it's well taken, that's why it was so important to see Hillary Clinton, Sheryl Sandberg, the passion from Kirsten Gillibrand, Senator of New York, speaking out about this. And I, as a Democrat on this couch, have unequivocally, there is no both sidisms that we've seen out of Congresswoman Jayapal, other squad members. There is no equivocating on these issues. Hamas and what they've done It is a terrorist organization. And the horrifying things that we're learning more about each and every day. And we saw it in the video coming out of October 7th. Remember the woman being dragged into that Jeep, bleeding? We saw what had happened, right? We cannot turn a blind eye from this, and we've got to condemn it. There is no but after that fact. There is no attacking Israel, as Israel was attacked on that day, and Democrats and Republicans need to transcend politics and stand firm about this.
That was what we could show on air. Harris, the silence is deafening. While we appreciate those who have stood up, the deafening silence, I think, indicates a lot about these so-called women's groups, these so-called feminists that led the charge quite vociferously during the Me Too movement or other movements that apparently they can get on board with, I don't know, safely. So, for example, here's who had no reply. American Association of University Women, the World Health Organization, Planned Parenthood,
of course,
the Democrats' Women Caucus, Emily's List, I Stand With Her, I guess unless they are Jewish, the National Organization of Women. This is patently preposterous, and yet for some reason they feel comfortable residing in that silence that expresses nothing less than complicity with Hamas.
You know, the silence is there because the words that they would speak, the truth would crush us. We'd soon find out that the National Organization for Women was never for women. They were for the politics of the moment. Where is the hashtag Me Too movement? What happened to that? Was that for women? Did that help women? Maybe the intentionality was there in the beginning, but where is it now? But 55 days for the UN Women's Group at the UN, as you pointed out, to issue a condemnation is the kind of silence that I think we can live with. Because we need to know who they are, and they don't want to tell us the truth. They want to be silent. Well, we know. We know by that list that Emily just read that they're not on our side. And when I say on our side, I mean as women, as mothers, as daughters, as grandmothers, as a whole population, any position that we would hold. Do you think they only rape those? Oh, are you over 18? Well, then we'll just take that one. No. We know that there were girls. You talked about that video of the woman,
Horrifying.
and you could see the blood on her pants.
Yes.
And let's talk about this like it happened. I mean, if it's too graphic to speak, can you imagine living or not surviving it? Living through it or not surviving? It's time for us to do that. And is it propaganda to repeat what Hamas did? They had GoPros on. They're Nazis.
They were celebrating.
I mean, the Nazis were making pictures and movies, and they weren't as obviously technologically gifted as Hamas, but it's a thing with these killers. And so we can speak it. We can speak of it, and we can speak out when we see people are not on the side of those who truly are suffering and are victims. And by the way, you don't think they raped the Palestinian women? Like, how far is Jayapal's ignorance going to go? Or just her silence because she thinks we can't handle the truth?
So let's bring in exactly to your point, how clearly we can condemn on the couch, how clearly we can speak to the levels of the regulations that the news allows, the descriptions of the absolutely violative horrors. But why doesn't the White House condemn or even address Congressman Jayapal's comments? Let's watch what Karine Jean-Pierre had to say when pressed on that congressman's vile comments.
We've been clear. What Hamas did is absolutely reprehensible and full stop. We're going to continue to be clear about that. And we think about, rape and the use of rape as being used as a weapon. That is also reprehensible, and that's full stop. And I'll just leave it there.
So Karine Jean-Pierre, she works for a president who is a Democrat. She is a White House press secretary that represents a Democrat. And there she was asked, she condemned rape, but said over and over again, I can only speak for the president. I'm speaking for the president. When you're the president of the country, but you're also the leader of your party. You're the leader of the Democrat Party. And I can tell you, when I stood at that podium, I was pressed about every Tom, Dick, and Harry who claimed to be a Republican, whether they were or whether they were not. And those words were pinned to the Republican President of the United States. It is unacceptable that she could not clearly condemn Jayapal by name, because if you don't condemn her, you stand with her. And when pressed, where was the pressing from the press corps? The next question, our reporter pressed, our reporter followed up. The next question was about Ukraine funding. Give me a break. She should be pressed and pressed and pressed until the President of the United States calls out the members of his party. Because I'll tell you this, as I said yesterday, one side has raped women, Hamas. One side has raped children, Hamas. One side has burned babies, Hamas. And when a member of your party cannot clearly say that and says, oh, we're not going to have a hierarchy of oppression, give me a break, President Biden, because you're not standing with the Jewish people until you call out the despicable members of the Progressive Caucus in your party.
And at this moment, we are praying deeply for those 18 remaining female hostages and for their release, so we can learn and share more of that truth.